So how was the bachelor party?
It was a blast. Um, it was cool, man. We just went to like a family cabin, um, and smoked a bunch of weed and played tabletop and played Smash Brothers and
Oh
fucking
yeah,
did some fucking grilling. It
Smash
was a
Brothers
blast.
on what console?
You know, we were mostly gonna do Melee,
Mm-hmm.
um, like GameCube,
Mm-hmm.
but the cords weren't working, and so it was like just displaying as like black and white on the TV for some reason.
Oh man.
So we did Smash Ultimate, like the new one,
Okay.
and yeah, it was fun. I like Smash Ultimate. I think it's good. I've just barely played any of it,
Yeah.
um, which I think is the case for a lot of people. Like, I think. Sorry, I'm still eating my snack there. Yeah, I think it's really good. Honestly, it's like this with a lot of games these days. It's just like all these games come out that are like the perfect, like it has so much shit in it. It's so much stuff that we wanted when we were kids, but now we're just like not kids. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't put a ton of time into it.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, no, it was a fucking blast, dude. It was like what was it? It was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday morning. And so I
Nice.
was I was pretty fucking ready to be home by Monday. And then Tuesday, we immediately went and spent all day like going and checking out the venue one last time.
Very cool.
And yeah, so I've just been fucking apologies for the late episode for to everybody, but it's just been fucking nonstop moving.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sounds like a
man,
big weekend.
it was fucking huge. It was fucking huge, dude. It was funny. A couple of my buddies came away from it like feeling kind of sick.
Oh,
Um,
COVID, the
and
new strain.
oh man, don't get me. I got plenty to say on that soon. But honestly, fuck it. I'm just gonna keep eating my peanut butter and honey here.
Ooh,
Um,
peanut butter and honey, dude. That's a good sandwich. Is it a sandwich? I'm assuming.
well, so me and my best friends, our moms used to make us peanut butter and honey sandwiches. You already
Mm-hmm.
know it's really
Yeah.
good. But my buddy just eventually just started just making mugs just full of mixed up peanut butter and honey with like a little bit of coconut oil in it.
Okay.
And it's
And you
like
should
it's
eat it with a
kind of
spoon.
yeah, no, it's kind of deranged, but it's really fucking good to be honest.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and so you gotta try it sometime. The important thing though is it's probably really unpleasant to listen to.
You're like
Um,
working through some peanut butter. It's like.
the important thing is I learned this recently. You know, I didn't used to like Adam's peanut butter because like you need to mix it a bunch.
Hmm.
Um, like that peanut butter you got to stir a lot, right?
Yeah. Has the
Adams
oil
or
on the
like
top.
yeah, or like Kirkland brand has that
Hmm.
too. Um, dude, the thing is though is like I got used to it because that's all that my fiance gets. And like we got some like Jif or whatever recently,
Yeah.
and that shit straight up just tastes like vegetable oil. That's
Oh
all
yeah.
that's all that shit fucking tastes like. Like
Hmm.
it is overwhelming. It overwhelms my taste buds, and I think like in the past that never used to be the case at all. And I think you just get used to what actual peanut butter tastes like.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And like yeah, I literally can't tolerate anything else anymore. Uh but yeah, no man, it's fucking peanut butter, a little bit of honey, a little bit of coconut oil, healthy fats, protein, little sugar as a sweetener and pick me up.
You
It's pretty
gotta
much
keep a drink nearby, dude, if you're doing that though, I feel like. For
oh
sure.
straight up. Well, you didn't see me, but you just heard me fucking take a little slug of meal water bottle.
Yeah, I heard it. I
Uh,
saw it in the mind's eye.
exactly. Dude, it's so funny. I don't know if you saw this, but like I saw some video like a month or two ago of Andrew Tate being like, it's a female trait to have a water bottle. Like
Dude,
he's like,
Andrew Tate's retarded, dude.
well, yeah, I know. Like as I was saying it, I was like, all right, why am I even? But
But
no, man, like it's just this like it's this whole like no carrying shit with you is a feminine trait, yada yada yada, and it's like, dude, like drinking water is good. Water rocks
yeah.
straight up. And honestly, you have a job where I feel like having a water bottle on you is like necessary.
Oh, it's paramount. I gotta have water. If I don't have, like, I have a big jug in my truck that I keep that's like 1.75 liters, like a gallon jug, I guess. And then I have a couple of smaller bottles, like an aluminum bottle that I'll pour into and use as my like drinker on the. Then I just kind of have one bigger reservoir of water that I pour into a smaller bottle. But yeah, I have to keep that, or else, dude, it's crazy outside. But I kind of get what he's saying, though, is the thing. Like, there's you'll see a bunch of TikToks or like Instagram or whatever, like of girls that are like beverage, like they have 3 beverages or whatever. Like they're like, I have my tea, I have my drink, and I have my like coffee beverage, or like, you know, whatever. They'll have like a whole setup at their office.
Right.
Job.
They have their like reusable, like big plastic Starbucks cold drink cup.
Yeah.
That they like machine wash at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have like, yeah, they're like that's filled with like just like 16 to 20 ounces of black coffee.
Yeah.
And then they have like the iced tea that they got from Starbucks, and then they have water with like a bunch of fucking lemon or cucumber in it or something. I fucking hate cucumber water, by the way. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. I can see that's something that bugs you a bit. It's coming up again.
It's like, if there's like a few things this podcast is themed around,
It's anti-cucumber water.
it's like getting married, COVID, and cucumber water.
And broads that look crazy.
And broads. Now, honestly, just generally judging women's looks, because apparently we're told that we're the best at doing that. So,
I mean, yes, a lot of people are saying that. Many people are saying that.
which is funny, because I feel like you and me are generally like pretty nice to the women folk. You know, I mean,
I like to think I'm nice to everybody, generally. You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, there's some sickos out there. Some are men, some are women. It's fine.
Dude,
You
I
know?
saw a new clip of Trump saying, these people are savage animals. It was the shit, dude. He was like, they're savage animals. These are people that are sick. And he combined them. It was real nice. I have to add that one in.
Yeah, that rocks, dude.
Dude, speaking of, I guess whoa. Wrong sound effect. Hold on.
Dude,
shit.
misfire. Trigger discipline.
These people are sick.
This is obviously a very, very sick individual. These people are the sickest of them all. These people are sick. They are sick. And you better get used to hearing it.
You better get used to hearing
These people
it.
are sick.
Bingo, dude. Yeah, so I gotta put these people are savage animals in there as well somewhere.
Oh my gosh. All right, I'm just going to be disgusting this episode. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this one's Boys Club. Farts and burps.
Dude, this is Boys Club. Well, speaking of Boys Club, so yeah, to bring a close to that topic, because last week it was like all about Slav getting married.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to talk about it too much, but you know, bachelor party was cool. It was a good time. We ate some. Do you have Papa Murphy's around your area? Have you heard of this?
Is that the place where you have to, like, you just go and pick up a pizza and then you bring it home and cook it?
Yes.
Dude, okay, I got beef with that place. That place is cap. Papa Murphy's is cap. I'm gonna say that.
Cap?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Have you had it before?
Yeah. Okay,
No.
dude,
Why?
I'm calling up to order a pizza and you're gonna make me cook it? What the fuck what's going on
See,
here,
I
dude?
knew this is what you were gonna say. Okay, you're wrong, my brother. It's so fucking. I don't know. I can't defend against that critique, really.
Right. That's just what's happening.
But you know what it is? It's just like you know, the fewer features a machine has, the better it can be at the things that it's specialized for, right? So like a Formula One car isn't really a vehicle you would drive to get groceries, right? That's not what I would drive to go get my Papa Murphy's pizza,
No,
right?
of course
It
not.
would be very bad at that, actually, right? And that's my argument for the Murphs, right? Is that, like, because they don't need to worry about that, first of all, you're getting a hell of a bang for your buck. And the pizza's just bussin', dude. It's bussin'.
It is good pizza. Like, I'll give them that. I don't know. I just feel like that's just like, if I'm gonna order pizza, and especially if it's like I'm gonna go pick it up like carry out style or something, it's like that's just such a long process now, because now I have to add on cooking it at home too. It's like I feel like if I'm starting the process with a pizza order, the anticipation is already beginning, and it's just
Dude.
building and building.
Oh yeah, no, it's like it's
too much.
I was about to make like a pre-cum joke, and for some reason I was just like, that's too much, man. Like, I don't know, you don't need to say that. No, I'll tell you right now, Papa Murphy's is the family pizza joint, okay? Because here it is, right? At-home spouse calls in the order. Spouse on their way home from work goes and picks it up.
I'll give you that.
Gets home, oven's already preheated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, slide it in.
And don't...
Oh, there was nothing sexual there. That was just pizza.
You can't get pregnant from pre-cum, okay? And so, and then an often forgotten about thing. It's a nice little smell good in your house.
Right? Oh, a little pizza smell. I do like
pizza
that.
smell. Now, anyways, point is, we well, here's the other thing, right? Pizza as this kind of like easy, cheap delivery thing is insane because like pizza's absurdly expensive. Getting delivery is like weirdly so fucking expensive, and people have always acted like it's this like, oh, just like slumming it, eating on the cheap thing, but it's like,
yeah, it's casual.
Dude, like pizza's always been like the proto Uber Eats, and I don't even mean that as in like it's delivery. I mean that as in like you're getting like 2 meals out of this, and you're paying for like 12.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, we were always a carry-out family for sure. We were not a delivery type family.
and that's part of the other thing is that my fiance like has like an ethical. She like refuses to get food delivered for some reason. Like even
I vibe with that. That's good.
I mean, I love it because I love getting food delivered, but she'll just go get it every time. So I'm like, oh, nice. Hell yeah! Like I'll just stay
you're
like home.
Saving money, and I don't have to go anywhere.
No, exactly. Well, the thing is, I just have a better delivery person now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
She won't forget the sauce.
I get to have sex with my pizza delivery driver.
It's a classic porno setup.
That was a bad time for you to come in.
Shit, yeah.
Did you just bring the dog in here? I talked about the wedding all last week. This is too much. This is too much right now. All right, I love you. I feel like that seems like it'll sound like it was staged, but
a quick little drop in.
Yeah, just a quick little flex. I'm not a lonely person. Anyways, that's my take on the Murph. We got a bunch of Papa Murph. We made a bunch of burgers.
Oh
and
yeah.
And one of the nights, and this is kind of the peak, we just had literally nothing besides just huge ribeye steaks. Just doming a whole ribeye steak to yourself.
Hell yeah. Carnivore diet, baby.
Dude, carnivore straight. Well, it's actually funny because my buddy who did it, who like cooked the steaks for us and brought them and everything, has been like doing carnivore diet.
Oh hell yeah! So he knows his way around a T-bone steak.
100%. That sounds.
Or what was it? A ribeye? You said? Yeah. Well, fuck, dude.
Well, I'm pretty sure a T-bone like is. No, a T-bone is a New York strip and a little bit of tenderloin, I think. Anyways, no one was curious about that, but yeah, it was
just in case anyone was. Just a quick little butcher info
just
inside baseball.
Yeah, no, it was a fucking blast, dude. It was a fucking blast. It makes me think about like what's up with people having degenerate bachelor and bachelorette parties. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was thinking that could be a little bit of a topic, like a springboard topic, because I know we had a little bit of a dearth as far as topics for this week go, and I know that was something we kind of hinted at last week. Like you were going out and spending a weekend with your boys, like out in a cabin, kind of trying to like savor the last kind of time of being like just you hanging with your boys before you're like a married person, and that kind of changes things a little bit. And I think that like that's a little bit healthier way to view a bachelor party than like the more common or alternative way I would imagine that's like this is the last chance I have of freedom before I can, be locked down. So I'm going to go and cheat on my fiance or whatever, and then do it in front of my closest boys so they don't ever tell anyone. That's kind of like the view that people have now. They're like, let's go to Vegas, let's go to strip clubs, let's do crazy shit. And I think that like what you did, I think is obviously a healthier way to do it. And I think that it's a little bit of a return to tradition of sorts.
Yeah, 100%, man. Well, I mean, keep in mind, dude. I think modern marriage like just has very little. It has very little like in resemblance with much of anything from the past.
Mm-hmm.
And like I know that this is like a take that like a lot of reactionaries have about like gay marriage, and like to be fair, that's like they literally have a point with that, right? But it's kind of all of it, like boomers were the first gay married people, and by that I mean just like getting married, not taking it seriously, and getting divorces. Like sorry, I just like opened Twitter. Sometimes I do that to like get the ball rolling conversationally, and then I just see like a video of someone holding a scorpion, and I'm just like, oh, that's really distracting. Like the joke that I'm trying to say kind of in a clumsy way is that like the people that actually damage the institution of marriage more than the actual gays in reality is just like boomers that kind of took all of its like metaphysical qualities out of it.
Yeah.
I digress. The whole like bachelor party thing, just like the like marriage thing, it's like, I don't know, it's very consumerized, right? And yeah, just this idea of like, I don't know, going to a strip club and seeing naked women that aren't your wife, or like, in the really extreme cases, which I have to wonder how common it actually is. It probably isn't very common, but people just straight up cheating on their fiance and shit like that. And, then you hear about, people calling strippers to parties, or, bachelorette parties, doing similar stuff, or, or even just joking about like, oh gosh, like one more penis for the rest of your life. Like that's a thing that I've like, heard people, kind of have kind of themes around, and it's kind of just like this very cucked loser mindset.
It's very strange. Yeah.
Well, it's really, no, it's really strange. It's really boomer, right? It's really boomer. It's very like my friggin' wife pill a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's just like, dude, like I'm like stoked to just have sex with my wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I be? You know what I mean? If I wasn't, right?
Then what are you doing?
Well, also like if I wasn't, that I should be a kind of embarrassed to say that openly to a bunch of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
dude.
That's kind of an L. And so yeah, I don't know. Like it's kind of weird. I don't like it. And honestly, for me, like one of the big things is just like, a lot of these guys, the lion's share of the dudes at my party were dudes that a few years ago when I was living in the city, I like lived with. Like they were all my roommates, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was this cool kind of thing of like, it's been years since we could do this, but it was just like having the better part of a week, we're all just living and hanging out together again.
Yeah.
Under one roof. And like that hasn't happened in a long time. It's never going to happen again.
Right.
Well, I mean, like maybe we'll have some, vacation like that again or something. But I mean, like we're never going to be roommates, hopefully. And like,
unless things go really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, it's okay though. We're Catholic. We don't believe in divorce. But yeah, I mean, it's wholesome, like it's I don't know. I'm kind of running out of road here. I thought I had something more to say, but just yeah, the degenerate weird sex stuff. I don't know. It just creeps me out a little bit. I mean, what she's doing for her bachelorette party is actually going to be like the night before the ceremony.
Oh, really?
She's just going to do like a full moon kind of like witchy pagan thing with her friends.
Nice.
Which is cool, and that's don't tell our pastor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, damn, dude, getting into witchy shit, that's no good.
Dude, she kind of was into that stuff in the past, and it's funny, it's not, it's within reason. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not like I think that Satanist or something,
well, that shit can get pretty dark.
Right, that's what I mean. Like, it depends on what your interest in it is. If it's like, oh look, the moon is cool and like nature has a wisdom of its own and blah blah blah, then like that's just like baby steps towards like an awakened kind of.
Well, also like a lot of I realized this after talking to her. A lot of Wicca is basically just the female version of Stoicism. Like
okay, yeah.
Straight up, dude. Like men just read Marcus Aurelius, and like chicks will just be like, fucking witch shit. Like it's Marcus Aurelius / Nietzsche. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, the shit creeps me out. Honestly, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like when we were looking for, God damn it, I don't want to talk about the wedding too much. I just realized, but a quick point, when we were looking at like venues, right? You look at these places and it's like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for like one afternoon, and everyone needs to be gone by like 10 p.m. or something, or else it's like $2,000 extra charge or something like that. And you're there and you're just like, this is the antithesis of love, right? Like this is not cozy. This like feels bad. And why would I want to like use this as a medium for my love for somebody? Right.
Yeah.
And like, that's kind of just how I feel about the bachelor party stuff and everything. Is it's just like, I don't need it to be like an escape from this person that I'm tying myself to. It's just like, nah, like it's just like, this is like my ceremony of just me and my friends a little bit, right? Of just being like, I love you guys, and this is an expression of that. This isn't an expression of me being like, oh God, get me away from this fucking bitch. Like that would be weird. That would be so fucking weird. And it's bizarre that people do that.
Yeah, it's not a good foot to start off a commitment on, I don't feel like.
For sure.
It feels like it's already seeding the ground for some sort of antagonism or some sort of just issues. I'll go ahead and one step further and just say I don't like strip clubs generally at all. Like I don't like them for bachelor parties, but I don't like them just for normal, for like just going to one. I went to Las Vegas for my 18th birthday and went to, or not 18th, 21st birthday. And went to like a couple of strip clubs on that night, and I was like, "Wait, what the fuck?" I was like, "I thought this would be cool, and it's horrible." It just doesn't. It feels icky, and you're like, "Yeah, this is just not like a moral or upright thing to do," and it's costing a lot of money. And it's like all these people have some sort of alcohol issue probably, and then it's just it's just not a good culture. It's just not
straight up. So I've never even been in a fucking strip club. But I
you're
think
better for it, dude.
Yeah, I think I would basically agree with you. Have you seen Blue Velvet?
No.
Okay, dude, watch Blue. We should do like a honestly, that would be a great bonus episode to watch.
I would love
Velvet.
I've been meaning to for so long. I just haven't.
It's awesome. I mean, like in my mind, Lynch. My two favorite Lynch movies in order is Fire Walk with Me and Blue Velvet.
Oh yeah.
And Blue Velvet's kind of like an easy first Lynch movie.
Okay.
Anyways, it's like there's kind of like a young man kind of sexual coming of age theme vaguely to it. Coming of age isn't the best example of it. But he kind of like stumbles in to this like very adult world where there's like a lot of like sex going on, and like it's like not cozy. Obviously, it's like very it's. I mean, we'll watch it and you'll get what I'm saying, but like it's scary. It's like authentically scary. This like kind of point of view in the movie of being like this young man stumbling into this like secret world that is kept private from young people, of just like dark, scary, unwholesome sexual content. And it's like horrifying. And that's what like what's his name's character, Dennis, the guy from Easy Rider and fucking Apocalypse Now, fucking Howling Mutants,
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper, thank you. That's like Dennis Hopper's whole character, right? And like that's how I imagine that shit is, right? It's kind of like I remember like being like a teenager and like going to some like actually authentic excuse me, some like authentically fucking weird and sketchy parties, and you're there and you're like, oh, this is like scary in a way that feels it feels like I'm in a fucking like Black Lodge entity Twin Peaks universe right now, right? Where you're like, I'm like surrounded by like animistic evil spirits.
Yeah, it's a seedy underground kind of vibe.
Exactly. And like that's how I imagine strip clubs are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like they're just kind of it's just kind of gross. I don't think that like level of, I don't know, I don't want to come off too pro women here, but I don't think that level of like objectification of women is very cool, and it's obviously not good for them. And yeah, it's one of those things. It's like OnlyFans. It's like you can make money doing it. It's like no barrier to entry really, so you can kind of do it pretty easily. And then, you know, it's like a flashy lifestyle that can kind of like quickly attract you to it. And so I feel like a lot of people that are like actually strippers or whatever are like in circumstances that aren't really good anyways. So the whole thing is just kind of messy. And then like you go in there and it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's dark. It's seedy. There's definitely some dudes there that are like running things that are like probably some sort of foreign that you don't really know. You can't really work out what it is, you know, and they're, you know, Turkish or whatever. That's usually not good. And yeah, it's just like not a good vibe really. I don't see really what's desirable about it. Cause I don't know. It's just kind of gross really all the way around. And
well, it's just funny
really
because
popular.
I could think of some like I could think of some kind of like, I don't know, BAP style take of being like, oh, like enjoying the human form and aesthetics and everything, but it's just like it's the ugliest fucking place in the world.
Yeah, like
and it's like sad people. Like it's not actually any kind of celebration of human form.
Yeah, no. If you want to like celebrate the human form or whatever, I guess you could like, I don't know, fucking get a Sports Illustrated or something, but it's not a strip club. That's not what it's about. That's not Illustrated. I don't know, dude, something. Or a fucking Men magazine or whatever the hell, Bat magazine. What's that one with there's some male magazine that was going around on Twitter and everything, and there's just like a bunch of physique bullshit nonstop. That's celebrate the male form.
Playgirl?
I don't know. No, maybe I don't know. This is something that like Martyr made, and all of them were pretty big on.
Yeah, I have no idea.
There's some sort of like editorial thing that they're putting out like once every 6 months or whatever. But anyways, that's how you could like celebrate the physical form if you want to, or like go to like look at Roman art or something, you know. But a strip club is not necessarily that. It's more of like you're like probably drunk, ready to make bad decisions. You're gonna be in there just like out of your wits probably, and then like it's dark and things just kind of come at you fast, and it's like, you know,
it's dark, all right.
Yeah. So, anyways, strip clubs. We're not pro strip clubs on the T-Pass podcast.
All right, here actually, okay. So we're talking about sex. We're talking about oh man, I got this crack in my ankle that is really satisfying to do, but I feel like it's not good that I'm doing it so much. Anyway,
can you do it repeatedly?
Yeah, well, repeatedly, not as in like I just did it. I can't do it again now, but like I can do it a couple times a day. Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I know that.
I did break the habit of cracking my neck though, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I gotta stop cracking my knuckles, dude.
Yeah, it's not good. Jinx, but we're talking about marriage, we're talking about love, we're talking about sex, we're talking about all this. I want to talk about the thing that I mentioned to you over text, which is this comment we got.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got some thoughts here. Okay, all right. Mm-hmm. Now, okay, you got to stop me if I'm overshooting here a second. But I think that I'm going to read the comment. Okay.
Yeah. Because
it's public. I mean, he posted it on our video. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I think that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. Thank you. And thank you to everybody who comments on our stuff and reaches out to us and all that. I love it. And especially a big thank you to this user who this listener, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this correctly, but Primrone 5354 reads as such. And this is a comment on our last episode. I'm happy for you, Slav, but it's so hard to relate to some of what you say. I'm a sub 5, and it's been a long and horrible journey in my dating life. My ever non-existent dating life. God has blessed me in many other areas, but not there. So much of black pill talk is cringe and hyperbolic, as you guys say, but it's the stuff that's not that matters. Hierarchy is real, and when you are acutely aware of your position toward the bottom, it makes it seem impossible. The stuff you describe about just being out there and having stuff happen never occurred for me. Or if it did, I was too buried in neuroticism by all the other bad experiences or non-experiences to notice. I need to follow your advice about getting out there, but it's just so painful. I'm not a normie, and when I present as one, I'm just a background character. No friend has ever sincerely tried to help me in this regard. I don't have friends, really. I don't have friends, not really. It's painful and cringe to even leave this here. I don't know. But God bless you and your fiance. I'm glad people like you can make it through the bottleneck. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Well, okay. First of all, I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Because I have a whole thing planned with this, as you know. But what are your thoughts?
Well, first, thank you for commenting on our post. Like Slav said, it makes it more rewarding, interesting for us when we get feedback and when we can have a dialogue and conversation with people that listen. So if there's anything you're taking away from it or whatever, we can know that, or we can like talk a little bit about something you're interested in. So we like that. So thank you for the comment. It takes a lot to put yourself out there and be vulnerable like this, even if it is an anonymous comment, that's still, you're still like admitting something, and putting it out in a public forum. So it's still like, it took a lot to do that and open himself up in that way to do that and say that.
Totally.
So I want to say, thank you for doing that. And yeah, God bless this guy too. He said, God bless you, Slav. But honestly, I read it and I'm kind of like saddened by it. Mostly I am kind of like disheartened by it, just kind of feeling generally like it's just sad to get into a mindset where you feel dejected in such a way like that. And
it's fucking heartbreaking.
So I read that it's heartbreaking. I think that it's maybe not uncommon though. Like I think that there's probably other people who would resonate with that, or people who just didn't comment, whatever. And so I think that it's not something that he's alone in, probably. Definitely not based on all of the popularity that like black pill dating and manosphere kind of stuff gets. So I think that, my heart hurts for the guy. I think that it's kind of coming from a distorted place of thinking a little bit that's probably been informed through different life circumstances, past relationships, or non-starters or whatever, stuff that he's read on the internet through these black pill whatever stuff, and inflated expectations perhaps as well, a combination of a bunch of things. And so I think it's something that is not completely lost. Like I don't think hope is lost in this situation. I think that there are things that can be done to put yourself on a more positive track, in ways that you could kind of change the circumstances that you're in a bit. But that's just like my initial overview response on it. I've got some other stuff we can get into, but yeah, I'll kick it back to you, Slav.
Yeah, man. I mean, okay. All right. So like, I think, I mean, it's really fucking relatable. And especially the bit about just like being, buried in neuroticism, from past experiences. That's a really big thing, right? You're too caught up in your own head, or like the pain of the past, to appreciate how far you've come, or just how good the present can be, or even just like maybe the president isn't even that amazing, but just getting to a place where you can actually make the present something you can enjoy is impossible. You know, I used to really struggle, like when I was getting sober, with like dealing with guilt a lot from just like dumb, embarrassing shit I would do when I was drunk. Right. And like, it like really was difficult. And I would be, and I'm talking about like, this is like times where I would be like doing really fun, great stuff, building great positive memories. And then I'm just stuck to these stupid ideas and thoughts and all that. That's a really relatable thing. Now, having said that, you know, I think when you're kind of down, when you're kind of in a bad spot, it basically becomes all you can like think about, or it becomes, and it makes sense, right? Because there's not really any, you don't see any like, what's the word I want to, you don't see any paths out, right?
Yeah.
But it really does come down to faith. And even just basic numbers, right? There are a bunch of, and okay, you say you're a sub 5, right? All right. You know, maybe you are a sub 5.
I'd argue he probably isn't.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, you know,
right. There's no way.
There's no way for me to know. Maybe you are. I have no reason to doubt it. So I'll operate on the assumption that you are, right? Now, having said that, well, I do have a reason to doubt it, which is if you're so fused to these negative ideas, then that's probably going to kind of deflate your score on the 1 to 10.
Oh,
right?
yeah, for sure.
A little bit. Here's the other thing. Just there are ways of gaming that system a little bit.
Of course, dude.
And it's a lot easier. Women have makeup, right? Men, it's a lot easier for, honestly. And I don't mean you just need to like, you don't need to just like become rich or something like that. But you know, well, whatever. I don't want to get too bogged down. Point is just kind of like, sorry, I lost my train of thought a little bit.
Well, you're fine. I think we can kind of take it step by step here because there's a few things I wanted to kind of unpack and kind of chew on in this. And the first one is one that you brought up, the sub 5 thing. Which is
really fast. I want to qualify this by saying, because this person is almost certainly listening right now.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is like, first of all, we're like building towards something here. And also this is not, and I would just want to be very careful towards this because I can relate with this comment so much. This is like not like a freak show putting this on display thing or anything at all, you know? This is like, I think I want to have a constructive conversation about this because like you said, I think this actually describes like a fucking shitload of people.
Definitely.
This describes versions of myself that have existed.
Right.
You know,
I think everyone can relate to it in one aspect or another, and you know, differing levels of it. And I think that it's something that's a very common mindset now with everyone being so alienated. I mean, he mentions that he doesn't feel like he has a bunch of friends. I think that's something that's very common now, and it's something that makes it easier to get stuck in those negative thought patterns that are going to inform the way that you're looking at the world, because you're not getting any pushback or anyone that's showing you any different. So you're left with only your ideas about what's going on in your life, in the world around you, and they kind of just start to just exponentially reinforce themselves, because there's just nothing that's giving you any pushback on them. And so anyways, I definitely am not trying to, like Slav said, we're not trying to put you on here and be like this, look at this guy. We're not trying to attack you at all. I do think we can have a constructive conversation that's, you know, hopefully meaningful for other people as well as maybe yourself and us too as well. So the sub 5 thing, I think that like this rating system 1 to 10 is obviously subjective. So that's one thing. I think that and this is what I said to you when you told me to read the comment. I don't know that I've ever seen someone in real life that I was like in the back, I just like registered them and I was like, oh, that person's under a 5. Like, I don't know if I can like recall a person I've seen that was like, yeah, that's a 3. You know what I mean? I don't
Mhm.
know that, because I think that everyone has some sort of definable characteristics to them, physical or otherwise, but even physical, like I think everyone has some physical attributes. Even if you're overall not the most attractive conventionally of all time, you might have really good eyes, you might have a strong brow line, you might have a good hair, like there are things, a good physique you might be able to do. You may be tall, you may, even if you're short, you can game that. Like you said, Slav, there's ways to game it. And so I think that like this conception of kind of self-defeatism, like I'm a sub 5. Well, have you done all the things that you can to try to raise yourself out of that? Like if you are thinking that you actually are a sub 5, have you tried to identify what your strengths are? Like, so how did you get down to this rating of you being that way? So you have to have some conception of what are your pros and what are your cons. And so let's focus on the pros for a second. Let's play those strengths. Do you, can you dress in a way that's going to highlight a specific physical characteristic of yours that it's better? Is there stylistic choices that you can make that's going to make you more attractive in that way? What is it? Because I think that there are obvious ways that you can play to your strengths, and you can come above like what your maybe physical limitations may leave you at. And then at the same time, I think that like there's a mismatch probably happening of expectations. It's like, okay, you say there's a hierarchy here, and hierarchy is real, and I agree with that, right? We are human beings. We do have more like rational thinking and stuff like that. We're able to rise above our animal instincts and such, but we still have hierarchy and order and instinctual drives and stuff that guide us and influence us as well. And so I think you're right. There is a hierarchy, and even if there is a strict dating hierarchy, right, and like maybe you're stuck in the sub 5 level, well, guess what? There are women out there in that level too. So like you can go out and at least start there. You can start to try to engage with people who are maybe a little bit more on your level or in your league or whatever. Kind of examine like what is your, I'm not saying that you need to like settle for someone that you're not attracted to or whatever, but just kind of examine who are you looking for in a mate? What kind of things are you looking for if in a partner, in a relationship? And like, why is that not matching up with what you have now? And kind of look at that. Like, I don't know if it's really about, you know, just I'm a sub 5 and because of that I'll never get anything. There's women out there that aren't the prettiest women of all time either, but they're still cute in a more homely way or whatever. Like, I just think there's ways to kind of game around that. You're not stuck forever in some I'm a 3. You can play to your strengths. You can work on yourself. You can try to work out and build your body up, and then that's a positive that can take you up some. You can identify, are you a funny person? Are you someone who is smart? Are you someone who has a good job? Like, what are the things that are strengths in your lives? And try to play to those. And then identify what are the things that are bringing you down. And is there anything that you can do about those to try to change that around a little bit, to make your circumstances something that feels more manageable for you?
Dude, so straight up, like some of this stuff is to kind of inject this with a little bit of deranged internet schizo shit. Some of this stuff. Are you familiar with like looks maxing at all?
I mean, no, but I think I can wrap my brain around the concept.
It's pretty self-explanatory. There's like a lot of like not MRA, but kind of like, dude, the whole MRA, workout dude stuff gets kind of gooey. And I think that there are like really good aspects of it and obviously really cringe, dumb aspects of it. But like the looks maxing stuff, you can go online and you can see people have typed out just like, if you want to just make yourself more attractive in like a couple of months, just do these checklists. And it's like really basic shit. Like first thing, just being like, take, skincare shit, drinking a lot of water, doing this, eating that, blah, 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 blah.
Sunlight.
Okay. Straight up, that shit sunlight. That shit works. Okay.
Look healthy.
Okay. And here's right. And there's the other thing. Okay. That is the perfect secret for ugly people, right? Is if you're taking good care of yourself, there are like 1,000 little non-verbal, really super subtle things that people pick up from you
that make you seem more attractive. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking shit like the most obvious probably being like you're more likely to have good posture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shit like that. If you're mentally together, you're making good eye contact, things like that. Your skin probably just looks a little bit. It's a bunch of stuff that you don't even necessarily like. If you're really staring at yourself in the mirror, you might not even notice necessarily.
Right.
But like just living healthy, you're gonna be looking better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, having said that too, if you actually are a fucking uggo, right? Being in a good spot to where you're carrying yourself well, you're exuding a kind of warmthness.
Mm-hmm.
A kind of warmth, a kind of like joy to be around. I think about like people at my church. There's certain people at my church that are just so fucking holy and kind and good,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they can be ugly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like they're like beautiful. They're beautiful
Mhm.
people,
Yeah.
right? Shit like that. Okay, that's a big thing, right? And
Yeah.
the annoying thing is part of the thing that doesn't really help the case we're making here is that the well has kind of been poisoned because the stuff we're saying has kind of been like repeated into just being like pointless platitude by like just women that like just say this shit to comfort people, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. But like,
I mean, there's still truth to it, though, dude.
no. That's what I'm saying. There is truth to it, right? It's just the kind of like, you know, I think you can acknowledge some certain realities, but also acknowledge the reality of what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Go
I
ahead.
think
sorry.
a lot of it is just about owning your shit. Like, if you are ugly, own it. Like, you know, if you're like, oh, well, my face is not my strong suit, okay, accept it and own it by being like confident about what is your strong suit, and then like not being bashful and shy and like self-hating or self-pitying about your face. You know what I mean? Like, go out there and still carry yourself like it doesn't matter. Like, just don't even acknowledge it. And I think that that's like part of it too, like having a certain level of confidence. And I think that that's obviously easier said than done. You know, like someone telling you, yeah, just be more confident, dude, isn't going to make you more confident. But there are things that you can do, like to try to change your view of yourself by like we're saying, kind of look maxing, or, you know, identifying your strengths and trying to play to those, you know,
Classic.
taking care of yourself and doing stuff like that can, like, you know, make you in a better situation. And like, I see dudes that are ugly with more attractive women all the time. I see dudes that are ugly with women that are average all the time. I see ugly couples nonstop, and they're happy. Like, they're not worried about it. They're
Well,
ugly couples.
okay,
And
and, well, and here's the other thing. Here's the ultimate white pill in my opinion, and you know, this might not be what some ugly people want to hear. I know that a lot of ugly people don't want to hear this, but the vast majority, and my fiance was just saying this the other day, the vast majority of couples that we know are with people that are basically of equal attractiveness.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay? And that's just straight up like, in my mind, that's like a hormonal, natural, instinctual thing that just happens, right? Now, like, if you're unattractive, right, like, you know, maybe that's a little bit of bad news and you're going to need to get through that a little bit, right? But like, it's going to be okay, right? And part of your brain is going to, honestly, I was like thinking about this. I was thinking about this the other day. Somewhat ugly people are always the most sexy people on like TV or movies, because compared to like super hot model looking movie stars, the like kind of ugly people look like people, as opposed to like the other the insane 11s out of 10s or whatever like that look like fucking Middle Earth elves.
Right. Yeah.
Like, they're gonna live thousands of years and we're just like hobbits. Not to sound like Moldbug here or something, but like
Fuck.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, and so there is just something to that. There's a reality, there's a realness to people that are kind of in your stratosphere. Now, I think we're focusing a little too much on the looks.
Yeah. That's just the one part of the comment. But then last thing on that though.
Well, in the hierarchy thing, right? Because he says a hierarchy is real, and you're acutely aware of your position when you're towards the bottom. Okay, again, people are attracted to similar positions on the hierarchy, and good news. Just by the way, men are the ones that generally punch above their weight class.
I was just about to say that, dude. Like you were saying, it's very common. Most of the time you find couples are pretty much in the same league generally, and it's kind of sorts itself that way.
Yes.
But the white pill on that too is that, like, if it is not the case, that where one is actually more attractive than the other, it's usually the woman's more attractive than the guy. Because like guys have, I think, a little bit more avenues for making themselves attractive in other ways that are not specifically physical.
Well, part of
through
it's kind of
either-
simple in my mind, which is just like men are just ugly. Like men are just
well,
ugly
yeah,
creatures, and like
Yeah.
women are hot, and that's why women want to fuck women also.
Yeah.
And so to make men attractive, it actually does come down to a lot more stuff like personality than
Yeah.
factors in with women. Now that stuff
Mhm.
does factor in with women. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, right? But yeah, also again, a beautiful secret about the thing we're talking about here with the similar positions and hierarchy coming together. You might just also not realize that this person you're with is of a similar position in the hierarchy because you feel such fondness towards them that you find them more attractive than everyone else around you does.
Right, definitely.
It's literally like the film Shallow Hal, right?
Dude,
like
yeah.
you're seeing Gwyneth Paltrow's actually in a fat suit, right?
I just found out about that movie like a month or two ago from my roommate, and we got on a DVD, and I was watching it, and I was like, "This movie is crazy, dude."
Dude, I watched that movie a wild amount when I was a kid. It was weird.
Hell yeah.
I remember it being good. I imagine it probably hasn't aged super well. Not like in a woke way or anything.
Well,
but
in a
just
woke
like...
way, it definitely doesn't, dude. They're like the whole thing's just like it's just fat. Like,
isn't fucking Jason Alexander in that? Fucking George
Yeah.
Costanza?
mhm.
Doesn't he have a tail?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, anyways,
But yeah,
Yeah.
to get back on this.
well, so I want to kind of, we're getting lost in the sauce a little bit with this topic. So I kind of want to bring in just my overarching plan with this, which you're aware of, right?
I mean, a little bit. I think you were saying you kind of wanted to offer some slight advice, kind of check in and see.
Which we've
how
been
it's
doing,
going.
right? Well, right,
Mhm.
exactly. Okay, right. All right. This is mutual aid. Okay. This is mutual aid. I'm putting on my AOC Instagram filter. We're doing mutual aid. Okay. I'm clapping my hands between words here. Okay. I want to check in on this. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're listening, and I'm talking to everybody right now. All right. Anybody who's listening, we did a mailbag recently.
Mhm.
Okay. And it was a fucking blast. And I think people really enjoyed it. Okay. This is the next thing we're going to do. Okay. If you're listening to this and you have opinions on this, you can go check out, you can read the fucking comment. It's on the YouTube video, episode 31, Never Surrender. He's the first. You all can make fun of the one other comment we got, which is, what the hell is our y'all talking about? Crying emoji.
That is probably how most people feel listening to it. Like, what the hell is are y'all talking about on this damn podcast?
I almost responded with something sassy, and I'm like, what am I even doing? Okay. I want people to write in with comments and advice.
Mhm.
Here's what we're gonna do, okay? And if you're listening to this, and I pray to God you are, Primrone 5354, which,
Mhm.
by the way, if I'm mispronouncing that, you have to correct me. Please comment again, okay?
Mhm.
If this whole topic has been a fucking nightmare for you and you hate it and you're uncomfortable with it, even though, to be fair, you shouldn't be a little bitch because you're totally anonymous, but I'm kidding. But if it has been, then fucking don't comment, don't bother. It's whatever, right? But if this is something you're cool with, fucking comment, right? We're going to fucking get a bunch of write-ins. I want to crowdsource this to the audience and get a bunch of advice, a bunch of feedback, okay?
Mhm.
We're going to follow up on this. And what I want to do, and I don't know what the time frame is going to look like here, right? But I want you to listen to it. And I want you to try some of this shit. And I want you to keep us fucking posted. And maybe a couple months from now, a year from now, I don't fucking know. But just keep us posted. We'll check in, right?
Mhm.
and we're fucking doing a community project of getting this man a girlfriend. Okay. That's what this is. That's the short version of this entire thing. Okay. So that's what we're doing. Do write-ins to help this man.
And if you're this man, or if you're someone who wants to write in and it's too long, or it's personal or private, or you don't want to do it in comments or whatever,
DM us.
You can either DM us or you can email us, and you can email us at tpasspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's tpaspodcast@gmail.com.
And you can put any other kind of questions or, advice kind of things in there as well. But yeah, I think with this one, I would be interested to kind of hear a little bit more and also keep in on this down the line. But I think a lot of it is maybe less about their physical looks and less about their position in the hierarchy, and a little bit more just kind of about their own conception of themselves.
Sure.
And how, like they mentioned, the being trapped in neuroticism that we talked about. How much are they getting trapped in the expectations that they've built for themselves, that they've been informed from past relationships, past experiences that were negative? How much are you letting that really shape your reality going forward? Because you shouldn't be letting that do, you're trapping yourself in that reality by giving them so much weight. Because when you have these patterns of thought, then you're going to continue to go down those paths. And like a well-tread path, you're going to make it easier and easier for your brain to keep following that and seeing the same results in everything that you do. So maybe just try some new ways of thinking. And I know that's difficult to do. I know that just change your brain, dude. That's not a good advice. But there are ways to try to focus on your strengths, or ways to try to change your perspective on it.
Well, listen, man, change your brain. It's not even like that, right? But I mean, I completely agree with what you're saying. I mean, this is that cognitive behavioral therapy pill we were talking about with the Yerk, right? I was thinking about this the other day. You just get patterns of thought that are like game trails in a forest, right?
Literally, yeah.
And they become well trod, and they become the path of least resistance. And so you repeat them without thinking about it, right? One of the best things you can do, right, is not even it's like looking directly at the sun, right? Don't try to break the habit of thinking about that shit. Work on the skill of taking a step back and having a mindful relationship with your thoughts.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
And so I did. It's actually funny. I drank a bunch of coffee the other day. I had this kind of stream of thoughts occur to me of thinking about the guilty shit, like I was mentioning earlier, right? I'm thinking about it. And I kind of just take a step back and I go all right, I'm not trying to shut these thoughts down, right? I'm taking a step back and going, this habit is happening right now. This is what's going on right now. Isn't that interesting? Right. And from that vantage point, right, and you're not trying to shut them down, so you're not in the mud pit with it, just wrestling with these thoughts, right? Yeah. Which you're gonna fucking lose every time, because it's like fucking Ghostbusters trying not to think of something. Like, you're getting the fucking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man if you do that, right? Instead of doing that, you just go I'm from this vantage point. This is happening down below. I can see that. I'm just gonna go for a walk. Yeah. I'm gonna do something else. And it kind of it gets a little easier, and it doesn't work for a while, but it gets easier with time. It does.
Yeah.
And I 100% agree. I mean, I think so much of this shit is a mindset thing.
Definitely.
And the fact is, listen, here's the other thing, right? Here's the other thing. Maybe it isn't a mindset thing. Maybe this person we're talking about is literally the fucking Elephant Man, and they have 5 eyeballs and a fucking club foot, which I'm saying this, I guarantee that's not the case. Right.
But there are people out there who would date that. There are people out there who that's their thing, is taking care of that kind of person. So you just gotta find,
Sure. That's my fiance. But maybe you that is actually you or something, right? And we're all just talking about the headspace and not about the looks thing and everything. If you are just insanely ugly, there's there's only so much that you can do about that at the end of the day anyways. And so you gotta fucking break through having that be a problem, right? Yeah. I have physical things that I really don't like about myself, right? That I've had girls literally be fucking assholes to me about in the past. I remember in school having girls be really cruel to me when I was younger, right? And I've always been like a little on the chunkier side, like basically my whole life and shit like that. You gotta just not be in this headspace of just only thinking about that. You know what I mean? Now,
you're letting
having
those
said that,
people
if exactly. Now, and I want to say this too, like, as a side note, obviously, if you do struggle with some weight for yourself, it's good to lose some weight, right? For your health, shit like that, right? I'm not trying to do the thing where I'm saying that it's like, well, obviously we just need to do the acceptance of being fat. It's like, no, I don't want you to die of a heart attack. Like, try to lose some weight, right? But in the meantime, right, the nice thing too is if you are struggling with weight, and I'm kind of rambling a little bit, I get that, but
you're fine.
For this guy, right, or for anybody fucking listening, that's the real thing. This is for anybody listening. This whole thing. If you maybe are struggling with weight, right, the cool trick of it too, right, is okay. Start working out. Try to drop a couple pounds, right? It's not going to happen overnight, but what is going to happen almost overnight? You're going to start feeling way fucking more confident, and you're going to feel like you're 14 pounds lighter in your confidence and in your headspace and in all of that shit. And it's fucking awesome, right? It's like you're going to basically get like body dysmorphia, right? Yeah. But in the cool way, where you're going to be like, dude, you go to the gym, right? You get a good pump on you. You fucking get a good sweat going. You feel like you could like fuck 1,000 women. You know what I mean? It feels great. You're like Arnold in those videos, right? Like, oh, it's like coming. And so it turn losses into a win, I guess is part of what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, man, this is what I want to do. This is a project that occurred to me the other day, and it clicked with me. And I guess the one last thing I wanted to say logistically about this, listeners, write in about this. The last mailbag we did was only patrons. We're not going to do that this time. Okay. So last time it was a Patreon only Q&A. Sorry, just horrible this episode. Patron only Q&A last time. It was only their questions. It was only them listening to it. I don't want to do that this time. Everybody, if you're somebody just listening on Spotify or YouTube, I mean, this guy's a YouTube guy, whatever. Though I will say, if he did subscribe to our Patreon, he would probably be more likely to get a girlfriend. But that's neither.
Most definitely.
Most definitely. That's actually going to be one of our tiers.
Yeah, it's the esoteric wisdom of how to get a girlfriend.
But yeah, everybody just send them in. And honestly, I fully expect we'll get some really great ones. We'll probably get some bad ones too. And it's just about talking about it, right? And yeah, man, Primrone, if that is your name, like keep us posted, Yeah. This is going to be funny if we just never fucking hear from him again. But
it's likely.
It's fairly likely, but hey, worst case scenario, we just get a bunch of write-ins and we just do like a love line episode.
Yeah.
So
best case scenario, he's like super into it. He starts sending in. Maybe he's like, this is what I look like. This is all this. We get writers to come in and help out with how to dress him up. We do a little makeover kind of thing.
That would be so fucking sick, dude. That would be so fucking sick.
We send in some good clothes and stuff like that. Get a GoFundMe going for some new drip.
Dude, I'm saying, dude, this is weird. This is going to be a Make-A-Wish Foundation, but for like getting this guy a GF. I was joking to my fiance about this. I was like, this is Make-A-Wish for getting a guy laid. And she's like, you don't want to get him laid. Like, you want to get him a GF. And it's like, that's what we want. Okay. That's what we want. So it's going to happen. If you're listening to this, get ready. We've probably talked about this for way longer than we needed to. Yeah. So I'm going to transition to the next topic, but I'm stoked about this.
Yeah, and God bless you, dude. Oh, one final thing on that. I'm sorry. I know we were going to transition out of it, but he mentioned on there, he said, God bless you to Slav. So I'm assuming this man is probably religious or open to spirituality, Christian. I'm not sure what. Sure. But I would just recommend also praying on it. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of what we were talking about with Slav saying, being mindful about how you're engaging with your thoughts. I think just sitting down and being quiet with God and just kind of putting it up to him and just praying on it and reflecting on it a little bit And I think that can kind of help, just putting it up and asking for, guidance on that. And, maybe have him go to work in your heart and your mind on how you're viewing yourself and how you're engaging with the world. And I think that would be something that would be helpful to do as well. But yeah.
Well, and listen, man. Okay, first of all, that whole like things just happen if you put stuff out there. It's literally fucking true. Yeah. That's literally fucking true. God will fucking provide for you. Okay. But he provides for those, he helps those that help themselves. Okay. Yeah. So you're going to do that. You're going to start helping yourself. And this is for everybody listening, right? Like start fucking helping yourself. And God is going to see that, is going to be stoked, and is going to meet you not even halfway, tenfold. Okay. Right. Tenfold. And I fucking guarantee that. I guarantee that. Like, this isn't even like a old faith and like poetic way of looking at things, but no, like that's going to fucking happen. Okay. Yeah. And you have to understand that. And if you don't it doesn't even fucking matter if you don't even fully believe it. Just do it, you piece of shit. And here's the other thing. From a secular point of view, that point I was talking about of like, okay, it's like I'm sitting on the side of the embankment of a stream, and I'm watching my thoughts float by, and like, oh, there's my memory of that cringe thing I said a few years ago, and like, oh, there's that memory of that ex that I have who probably thinks I'm an asshole, and here's all these worries I'm having, right? But I'm back here, I'm on the embankment, I'm not down in the creek getting wet with it, right, and all waterlogged and heavy, my clothes are heavy. I'm just watching it go by. I have that distance and I have that awareness, right? Prayer, and specifically, I mean, this is kind of baked into prayer, but like just this idea, this framing device, right, of like there is a creator, right, who is watching you, who has a hand in everything that is happening, is a really, really great way. And this is just, like I said, this is just really basic secular level almost. It's just a really great way of mentally creating a little bit of distance between what's happening and your thoughts and you, right? And contextualizing things with God, it can be a really great tool with that kind of cognitive behavioral therapy approach. So 100% pray on it, offer it up. You got a fucking weight on your shoulders. Ask for a little bit of help on with that. And also, as a quick side note, I don't necessarily think it's a great place to go to meet people as a young person trying to get a GF, but like going to church and like getting involved is also just really great. Because like, it's just nice to have a place where like, if you disappeared tomorrow, people would notice, anyways,
involved with the community.
100%. And that's critical. Anyways, COVID-19. It's coming back, babies. It's coming back. It's actually, this is funny. I'm kind of setting up bait right now. I don't know if you've seen this. People are constantly talking about, I don't think we discussed this. But people have been talking a lot about, oh my gosh, are masks coming back? Are lockdowns coming back? Okay. All right. I'm gonna before we invest in one, path on this topic too much, I'll be real upfront about my take on this. I think it's fucking bullshit. I think there is I'm not going to say no way ever, right? But basically, I think there's basically no fucking way in hell that mask mandates and lockdowns, certainly not lockdowns, are coming back. There's a couple reasons for that. Okay, one, on college campuses just literally don't count. College campuses are like close to black holes, and just the laws of reality have become elastic. It just doesn't count. Okay. It's like being in a strip club, right? You're just like, you're surrounded by just dark black lodge entities. That's like not normal. Okay. That's not a normal place. I think that, one, masks just don't fucking work. Two, normies are tired of COVID. And three, it would destroy Democrats popularity wise to do that again in an election year. Now, the other thing is,
and this is the reason it's being talked about at all, because I'm pretty sure this all came from Alex Jones, and then Trump put out a thing being like, don't like resist it, yada yada. This isn't the talking point on the right about this isn't even really about COVID. Okay. It's about election security. That's the whole thing in my mind, is that people are bringing this up so that they can talk about, in an indirect way, rigging the next election. Right. And in a way, that's kind of like how the BoomerCon has kind of like remembered COVID in general.
Yeah.
I think is that COVID was all about rigging the 2020 election. Okay. And this is for all the censors out. If you're someone who believes this, which obviously I am not, because I would never, COH also,
You're
I would
wrong,
never
think.
doubt, you know, I go to bed every night feeling security that democracy will protect me and make sure I wake up in the morning. Okay. So
it's like my blanket.
yeah, 100%. My blanket actually has democracy embroidered into it.
Yeah.
So it has the Constitution.
I was about to say, fuck.
And a picture of Lisa Simpson. That's what this is. That's what this is about. I don't think it's going to happen. What are your thoughts? Now, maybe you disagree. But I wanted to say my part right up front.
Well, I've been seeing a couple of people around with masks on in the store and stuff, and it makes me infuriated. And then I've like been seeing all these articles pop up on my MSN feed because they're trying to trigger me nonstop, and it'll be like, I don't know, University of Northwestern, instates mask mandate, or like JP Morgan Chase makes corporate workers wear masks or whatever. And it's like, it's kind of like what you're saying. It's like, yeah, those places they've been doing that. Like they've been doing that over the past 3 years on and off. Like those places are almost like a Twilight Zone reality. Like you're saying, this black hole kind of thing. That's not the same as like the reality that everyone's working in. And I think that they have a lot to do with constructing that reality through, their media choices and stuff like that, and kind of ideologies that they formulate in graduate schools and whatnot. But I don't think that that's indicative of like what is going to happen on a broad scale. I don't really think that I could see mask mandates coming back. I think that, number one, the White House has been acting real coy with it. They've been all kind of like not trying to talk about it because they know themselves that it would be a pretty bad thing for them. Fauci recently has been like saying stuff that's alluding to the fact that masks didn't actually work for spreading or for stopping the spread, but they do work for individual protection. He's like trying to walk this weird line where he's like, it's important to wear a mask during this spread because it'll help you as an individual, have a level of protection. But mask mandates weren't effective at actually stopping the spread of COVID. He's like allowing that now. And then,
well, he still of course does the little asterisk for all the shit libs of being like, but like for individuals,
yeah,
it still works. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah.
yeah. Yeah, and but he also said that it's going to come down to individual people doing that, and that he does not expect mask mandates or anything to come back at a regional or national level. So I mean, now that dude lies out of his fucking ass all the time. So who knows what to think about that? But I just like to think that people are past it. I think everyone's sick of it. I think it's retarded. I think everyone thinks COVID's gay. I think everyone thinks masks suck. And I don't know if that's even true, but most people that I'm around hate it. And so I like to think that that's indicative of the normie at larger. And I think that we're just kind of like back, dude. We're on the other side of it now. And we're not trying to get dragged back down into that bullshit. And people maybe are trying to memory hold the whole thing or not actually engage with the realities of what happened and like the entire economic shift that occurred and everything. But I think that at the end of the day, people know that it wasn't right and they don't want to go back into it.
Right.
And so I think it would be hard now to like, I mean, I thought that the first time too, like, people would push back maybe or whatever. But I think the second time, it's almost like a boy cried wolf thing. It's like, we've kind of seen it. People can feel it. People are like, look, I'm fine. And now COVID just doesn't fucking matter, dude. It's literally just, they don't even test for it in most places anymore. People aren't worried about it anymore. Everyone's had it. You've got an immunity to it now. It's like, what are we doing, dude? Who gives a fuck
You want to
about
know
it?
something fucking crazy? I never got it.
Really? Oh yeah, I feel like you said that. You were saying you thought you might have had it. You were sick sometime, but that you never got tested and you didn't confirm that it was COVID.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've never fucking had it, man. Yeah, I don't know. I have such little patience for this point of view, this really, really small-minded point of view of just like COVID was sent out to just make sure that Donald Trump didn't get reelected.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's correct. I mean, I think that they definitely capitalized on that, and I think that it maybe was part of the entire kind of shift that occurred, but I don't think it wasn't like the Chinese worked it up to keep Donald Trump from getting elected or whatever,
Right.
a combination of that belief.
And like and so this whole thing of just being like, oh boy, here comes another election, they're gonna do it again. It's fucking idiotic. Yeah, I don't really want to fall for it. Now, one thing that's interesting, you brought up Fauci admitting with the masks. Another thing that got admitted recently was the CDC putting out a statement, and it had a similar asterisk put on it. They recently put out a statement saying that vaccinated people will be more likely to catch this latest strain.
Whoa,
Unvaccinated.
Really?
Yes, they did. Now, okay, hold on. They did also say those that have been previously infected. Okay. Now, I think if you look at the data, and this is just hearsay, okay, so I don't, I've never been in the habit of checking facts. I'm not going to start now.
Of course not.
I'm pretty sure it's more so the case for vaccinated than previously infected. But still, that's fucking insane. That is humongous. I mean, it doesn't even matter about the previously infected thing. The vaccinated are more likely to catch it, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is fucking wild. And again, that's something that we've kind of been hearing for a while now.
Of course, yeah.
And so for them to admit that it's crazy. It's almost like there's two tiers of reality, right? Where it's like the shit we know that's true, and then the shit that actually gets made to be true in the discourse.
Yeah.
Once it's like actually acknowledged.
Well, they acknowledge it so long past the point too, to where like after they've already debunked it, and the initial discourse, which is like what everyone kind of remembers, and then like a year goes by, 2 years go by, and then they sneak this little admission under there, and it doesn't actually affect the zeitgeist really that much because it's like it's already been tainted with like the original discourse and the debunking that went on. It's kind of like the ivermectin thing we talked about, where still people are like horse paced about it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, ivermectin is and that's the thing is like, the damage is done, right? The damage is done with a lot of this stuff. And it's like they can come out and they can acknowledge the truth. But people are still going to basically kind of a lot of the time default to the original line, right? Or at the very least, the old lib line will never ever have the amount of stigma and discipline attached to it that the correct position had in the beginning.
Yeah, and there's a really like high number of people that are experiencing like vaccine regret, who are like, man, I now that some time has gone by and the dust has settled, I wish I hadn't done that, because I'm seeing that my people that I know that didn't get the vaccine, they're still able to go to the same places as me now, because like the passport thing didn't really last that long. And so that's why a lot of people did it in the first place. And so people are already kind of like feeling bad about that. They don't really like how that was done. And then now they're admitting, the vaccine actually makes you more likely to get COVID. It just seems like, it'd be hard, I think, for them to really get the wheels moving on COVID again in any type of like serious way. But I mean, I really just hope that they don't too. I think it's probably optimistic thinking on my behalf, but yeah, I don't think that that's something that'll really make a big comeback, like COVID lockdowns and mask mandates. Not for COVID. I think it could happen again in the future for something else, but I just don't see it for COVID.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, especially not right now. I mean, people just need to understand like this, regardless of like how crazy you think things are, like it would be bad for the Democrats
Yeah.
Electorally. It just would be.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and you know, if I'm wrong about this, absolutely own me online, but I'm not gonna be.
Yeah. Well, Biden just put out a big like announcement ad that he was running during the Thursday night NFL season kickoff game, where he's like talking about he's running and all this and all that again. So the old knocker, he's gonna be back in there. He's gonna be trying to do it again. So yeah, he's definitely trying to pull out the stops he can to make himself look likable. And I don't think that instating a mask mandate and making everyone wear bullshit again is gonna be positive for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, another thing that happened that's not related to COVID or Biden, that I just kind of wanted to touch on quickly because I saw someone mention in the Discord. Comedian Shane Gillis, he put out. Are you familiar with Shane Gillis at all? If you know of him.
Mm-hmm.
So he put out a Netflix special like last week or something, and it's been #1 on Netflix across all types of media for like the past like 5 or 6 days. And I think that #1, I think he's funny, so I wanted to bring it up because
he's pretty funny. I like some of his sketches on YouTube.
Oh yeah, Gillian Keeves, yeah, that's pretty funny. But his stand-up's pretty great, and I think that I would recommend checking it out. We can maybe discuss it a little bit or whatever. I know people in the Discord are into it. But another thing is just kind of what it shows culturally, I think is maybe significant, because like I think it's important to kind of look at like his origin story as far as in the cultural zeitgeist, which is that he was hired onto SNL, and then he was fired from SNL because he had like a racist comment in the podcast that came up where he called Asians like something that was derogatory or something, something about some Chinatown people. He said something about
Yeah,
them.
he made some racist joke and he lost his SNL job.
Yeah, and now he's like blown up, gone to like the top of comedy, and he released a special on Netflix, which is a pretty mainstream thing now, and he's gotten like, he's #1 in the country on it, and he's saying gay, he's saying retard, he's saying stuff about Trump in a not in particularly negative light. He's like saying stuff. It seems like it's somewhat of a cultural win of sorts. Like I don't think it's like, I'm not saying that he's like a hard-lined right
the revolution has started.
Right, yeah. No, but I think it's kind of an indicator of like where normies kind of are with their distaste of like kind of just this manufactured reality and cultural content that's been coming out recently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something that I thought was just interesting to see.
Yeah, well, it is interesting. I mean, one thing that I've been thinking about lately is, okay, so it's gooey, right? Because I mean, like, all right, like, woke shit, progressive shit. It's like it has institutional power, and at the end of the day, like, power's power, right? I mean, material, they got the resources, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also, culture's gooey.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and it has some X factors to it, and one of the downsides that comes from like being the people in power is that you're like not it's kind of hard to have your shit be cool.
Yeah.
Like the underdog aspect of it, which to be fair, like maybe it wouldn't be as bad for them if they didn't just make it completely central to the entire thing. Mm-hmm. Their whole thing is being an underdog. They're fucking dorky, right?
Yeah.
And one of the other things is just that like culture sucks now. Yeah. Everything sucks now, and they're the people. The music has stopped, and they're the ones standing in the middle of the room still. Mm-hmm. Like they're getting caught with the bag. Now that more and more and more and more people, I think, are just coming around and just being like, why the fuck would I watch the news? Why the fuck would I watch SNL? Why the fuck would I watch the Black Little Mermaid movie? You know what I mean? Like what is going on? Yeah, man.
And with the writer's strike, they're not even doing SNL now. They haven't for a while.
Dude, thank God for the writers'
Right,
strike.
dude. Yeah, absolutely, dude. It's like actually kind of like stopping a bunch of that horrible cringe bullshit for a little while. I don't even think that wasn't the intended purpose, really. I mean,
Obviously, yeah.
they wanted to strike, so they wanted to disrupt it, so they could get their demands or whatever. But I don't think they were like, let's stop the gay shit. But it's making it so SNL and all that stupid like late night talk show bullshit. It's just not even happening right now, which is a positive, and I think will ultimately hurt them long term because, like, you might have still had some scragglers that were still watching SNL and whatnot, but I think they've gone down as far as like their cultural cachet. And now that you're going to have a gap of people a long period of time where it's just not on, you're going to have more and more people dropping out of that. So I think it's going to be like, ideally, that kind of old media shit's just kind of in a waste bin going forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Yeah, 100%. I think, yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, on one hand, it's you got to be kind of a little bit of two minds about it, which is, I look at stuff coming out these days, and like, there's not really a lot of the stuff that's coming out that's good doesn't really have the like annoying woke shit in it.
Yeah, definitely.
I like play a lot of video games. I'm like playing Baldur's Gate 3. It like doesn't really have very much weird gender goblin-y woke shit in it, really. It's there a bit, right? But like the stuff kind of dies down, and the things that people really want to imbue with a certain level of quality just kind of generally tend to just shy away from it, right?
Yeah.
Which is like a good sign, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now and I think that there is a little bit of like a shift, right? I think that it kind of hit a fever pitch a little bit. Now, having said that, right, at the same time, this stuff is really like insidious, and it's all about the subtlety.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I don't know if you saw this, but like this new game that came out, Starfield, which I've been enjoying quite a bit, to be fair. Starfield comes out and people are upset because instead of having gender options, it has pronouns in the character creation. Right. And, I don't like that. I think that's fucking dumb. Right.
Right.
And then the dumb, cynical argument comes out of like, well, why do you even care? Right. Yada, yada. Yeah. And so then someone puts out a mod for the game online that takes out that feature.
That's the only thing in the mod.
Yeah. Now,
nice.
Modding online has kind of been consolidated to one website called Nexus Mods.
Okay.
Well, this has kind of happened before with another game, but this is a particularly interesting example. They took the mod down.
Oh, wow.
And they've instated a policy on their website that forbids any mods like that from being online at all.
Any mods, period, at all, or any mods that are specific to the pronouns?
Any mods that would go against inclusivity or diversity is I think their phrasing. Which is obviously funny because like the point originally is just like, why would you care? How is this a big deal? And it's like, it's such a big deal that like this thing can't even be allowed to exist.
Yeah, it's such a big deal that you're now caring about it now that we've changed it. Yeah.
And that's the thing is that the idea, this whole idea of like, well, why do you even care? How's it a big deal? There is a truth in that. The problem is that you stack up 1,000 of those and like the needle is moved culturally quite a lot.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. And so, yeah, I take this kind of stuff with like with cautious optimism, right? Like,
yeah,
cool.
Definitely.
It seems like we're like swinging in like a good direction. I'm really encouraged to see that. Having said that, though, the real movement does come from that kind of death by 1,000 cuts, insidious stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Having said that, though, I mean, it is always encouraging. And I think we both have mixed feelings about the whole like judging success of something by like its performance as a product, but like it is encouraging to see that content like this comes out, entertainment like this comes out, and it seems to generally just across the board usually be pretty fucking popular.
Yeah, definitely.
You look at like that fucking Hannah Gadsby stand-up special a few years ago that everyone was like, this is like the new Bible, and like that wasn't really very popular at all.
I don't even know this broad, but I've heard you talk about her before, and I've heard a couple comments or a couple of comics mention her in a negative light. And I googled her, and I just gotta look at her physiognomy. It's not good.
Dude, physiognomy nightmare. It's dire with her. Yeah. I don't know. I honestly, that would be an interesting one to do, like a watch bonus of.
Oh God.
Basically, it's an anti comedy special where it's just, she just goes up and she does a stand-up special, and the whole conceit of it is her saying like, do you remember that Jerry Seinfeld, I don't know if you do, but there's a Jerry Seinfeld stand-up special that I think he's since had another one since then, but it was like I forget what it was called, but it's the whole conceit of it was that it was his last stand-up special, and he was putting his jokes to rest. And it has an intro of like putting a bunch of little sheets of paper that his jokes are written on in like a casket and lowering them down into a grave. And like, it's him retiring from stand-up. And it's like a really good special. It's kind of like that with this. It's her whole thing is she's like, this is my last stand-up special. I'm retiring from now on. But the whole reason for it is basically like, I do self-effacing comedy, right? I make fun of myself. And the fact is because I'm from a underprivileged group or whatever, it's actually punching down, and that's bad. It's like bad to make fun of myself because I'm a gay fucking lesbian or whatever.
God, I don't even like hearing this as a concept for a special.
It's horrible.
Game.
It's horrible. Yeah. And then she lays out kind of like a metaphysics of comedy by saying, which is because then the question, I think, keep in mind, it's been years since I watched this, but because then the question becomes like, well, what if you just didn't make fun of yourself, right?
Right.
And I think she like lays out this model of comedy of basically being like, you know, a joke is like a setup and a punchline, and the fact is that like in the transition from a setup to a punchline, there's like tension that is built, right? And like that tension can be really difficult for a lot of us who like suffer with trauma, and that's like abusive.
Oh my God,
it's
what
insane.
The fuck, dude?
And then she basically ends the special by just being like, yeah, I was like gang raped by a bunch of men.
Oh my God.
And it's genuinely misery.
That's a nightmare. Dude, I hate that kind of shit, bro. I hate hearing that. Like, why are you coming up here and telling me all that? You ruined my night hearing that. I thought I was going to hear something funny. It's in a stand-up category, and you're ruining my night. What is that? That's not stand-up. That's a one-man show of just, like you said, misery. And, like, I don't even know. I hate that shit, dude. That's, like, a new thing. I mean, we've talked about it before, I think, but, like, the death of, like, comedy in, like, a meaningful way. It's, like, people like that. It's, like, where you're just having... people just use this like a pity party, weird one-man show bullshit where they're unpacking all their problems and it's not even funny. Like, if you're going to do that, make it funny. And also, like, be a little light on it. Like, you can do a little self-depreciation, but don't get onto all these onion-like layers of, like, cultural, why is this wrong and why is it right? Dude, people don't want to think about that. Tell me something, build up tension with the fucking joke, and then deliver a punchline that cuts through the tension.
Don't build up tension. My trauma.
Yeah, I'm too scared, bitch. That's the fucking point. God, she's like getting close to the point of understanding why comedy is a good public service. Like, it lets people deal with that trauma in a more digestible way, and like have to engage with it and see like, why am I feeling this way from just a fucking joke? Like, you know, stuff like that. Like, that's part of the whole. The tension is why comedy exists and why it's funny in the first place. It's the same thing with art. Like, there's tension and release in all art, and that's like what is powerful about it. And man, fuck that. Fuck this person. I don't even know. I just looked her up again. She's going by they now. It looks like. I don't know if that's part of her whole thing, but God, dude, I'll never watch that. I mean, I might watch it if we do a bonus about it, but yeah.
Yeah, no,
Anyways.
it's a fucking nightmare. It's also just like postmodern brain, where it's just like
Yes.
not everything, and I don't mean that in like the annoying fucking cringe Jordan Peterson way. I just mean that as in like sometimes a fucking stand-up special can just be a stand-up special.
Yes.
You know what I mean? This whole thing I'm talking about of like having distance from your thoughts and feelings and shit like that. You don't like need to do that with the art you're making all the time. You know what I mean? Like just make a fucking stand-up special. You know what I mean? Just be happy to be doing a stand-up special. Have like a sense of humility and kind of service to the audience. This is also part of the thing. I was going to mention this earlier, you know, that woke progressive whatever culture is fucking uncool because it's dominant, but it's also uncool because they don't have like a sense of like transcendent beauty and aesthetics.
Yeah.
Not really.
What's just a revolt against form?
Yes, exactly, right? And it's just like it's not going to stand the test of time. This is like the biggest reaction to this thought that I ever had was when I watched Knives Out. And I remember watching have you ever seen that?
No.
Well, don't bother. But I mean,
it seems like some stupid bullshit, dude. Like, I don't know. It just seems like some bougie bullshit.
Bullshit. It's like Democrat immigration policy.
Yeah, dude.
Bullshit. But you like I got to the end of it, and it's just okay. The whole thing is Ryan Johnson needs to be the most clever guy in the room, right? Always, and so he's annoying and he's fucking desperate. And
it's a little fruity to me too, dude. They're all dressed all. It's a little
very
too
fruity. But you get to the end of the movie. Okay, so the whole thing is that it's a murder mystery, right? It's like Clue, but it's a murder mystery that like you learn who the murderer is in like the first part of the movie, right? And so it's like a murder mystery in reverse, right? And it's riding a tricycle around the room, juggling balls, just being like, look how fucking smart I am. The big takeaway I had from it is that it's just like, dude, Ryan Johnson is never going to create a great piece of art that will stand the test of time.
Yeah.
He's never going to do that because he's not interested in just getting into the pocket and just just being a part of another link in the chain of the process and further refining the form. He's just trying to just take a step back, step out of the chain entirely, and just critique the form. And that's what fucking Nanette, that Hannah Gadsby thing is. It's fucking horrible. And I'm sure that just this Shane Gillis stand-up special is not that. I'm sure it's just a fucking stand-up special.
It's just honestly, a return to form.
Right. And honestly, that was one of the things that I didn't like. That was one of the few things that I didn't like about the Chappelle stand-up special.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I hate the new talky bullshit, dude. I'm not here for a lecture. I'm not here for, like... I'm okay with storytelling stand-up. Like, Theo Von will do, like, stories, and that's cool. But I don't want to, like, just be here for, like, a fucking one-man show informational, dude. I'm not in the class right now.
Right.
It sucks. I hate that shit. Like, same thing with Chappelle. It's like he's funny, so like he's gonna find the humor in it, but like he's just talking at you for like 4 hours. Like that's what he's famous for now, is that he'll go and do stand up, and his stand up's just like 5 hours long, and it's just like him having a conversation with the audience, which is fine, but that's just that's not the same as the stand up as an art form, like traditionally. Like I think about like
the new Dave Chappelle stand-up special, the last one, is basically just like Nanette. It's the Hannah Gadsby Nanette special, but for the anti-woke crowd.
Yeah, it's the reverse. Yeah, for sure. I hate that. Like you're talking about someone that's not making something that's culturally or that's going to be like stand the test of time. It's because it's too tied into the cultural moment that's happening right now, and that's not always going to be the case. And like I think about something like a stand-up special that would stand the test of time. It's like maybe like Mitch Hedberg. You look back at that. That's just him just telling straight one-liners, just funny jokes nonstop. It's not about like, here's a story about reflecting on the current era and this and that. It's about this is just some funny shit that's going to catch you off guard and is funny. It's just jokes. And like, that's something that's going to stick around. Or like Eddie Murphy Raw or whatever. Like, that's shit that like stands the test of time. Or I guess
a lot of people don't like Raw now, but
oh yeah. Or like, I guess you could say like maybe an argument against that would be like someone like Carlin or whatever. But I feel like Carlin is like someone like that is relevant now because he kind of started the change, like it started like that kind of form of just kind of like being a lot more social commentary and stuff like that.
Dude, honestly,
so, like,
that's funny. It's funny you brought that up because honestly, like I've like come around to just being like, George Carlin is annoying to me now.
Yeah, definitely. Dude.
Like straight up, like fuck George Carlin. Like
I don't fuck with it.
I used to, and I like get it. Like I don't want to do the thing where I just go like, oh, like I don't care for this thing, and so I need to say it's objectively bad. Like I don't think he's objectively bad or anything, but like
he's like Michael Moore in comedy.
Yeah, he's like Michael Moore, which again, like Roger and Me, Michael Moore's first documentary is like a superb film. Roger and Me is so fucking good. But like, yeah, like fuck Michael Moore, fuck George Carlin, 100%, no cap.
Yeah, I would say the Gillis thing. It's pretty funny. Check it out if you care to. I'm someone who likes comedy. I'm frustrated by the way that comedy has been over the past like half a decade or a decade. But I think that there's like some small bright pockets of like people who just never really gave into the bullshit of like we're gonna change the way that comedy's done. And I think that they're gaining more prevalence now and kind of trying to take back the genre a little bit, which is nice.
Totally.
Shit, dude. I don't know what else we've got. We've got
I think that's it, really. I mean,
yeah.
Fucking A, you know. So everybody write in about this thing that we talked about. And that's it. I think I actually just got a DM yesterday from Grift Shop. He said he really wants to come on. So I think I might actually just have him come on this week and we'll do the next episode with him.
Yeah, dude, maybe we can get a merch run going, a t-shirt or two.
That would honestly be so fucking sick.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I think he's still got the designs that we used, like the one that's on the logo and everything, so he can maybe spoof that up.
Yeah, it'd be good to talk to him again. Honestly, it's great just talking to people from the cynical point of view. It's great talking to people, buddies again too. Just like now that we're on Twitter again, and so it's just like getting that signal boost.
Definitely.
But also just good to talk to him because he's the boy.
Well, yeah, if you're listening, guys, thank you. Please send in any type of mailbag stuff, send in any advice, any questions, anything like that you have for us or for our comment. And also, please continue to support us and share us out to people. If there are people that you know that maybe still don't know that we're doing T-Pass podcast, let them know. It's been a little, bit of a process trying to get back in front of all the listeners that we've been in front of in the past and just kind of sorting out into finding our friends. And so we appreciate the help on that. And we'll catch up with you guys next week.
Oh yeah.
These people are sick.
This is obviously
you better
a very,
get used to
very
hearing
sick
it.
individual. These people are the sickest of them all. These people are sick. They are sick. And you better get used to hearing it.
And that concludes this week's episode of These People Are Sick. Thank you for tuning in. If you liked what you heard, you could head over to our Patreon page, which is the home for bonus content, extra episodes, video content, access to our Discord, and more. That's patreon.com/thesepeoplearesick, and we hope to see you over there.